Hi, I'm Lynn, and here's what's happening at Ewetopia Farms today. It was bound to happen. Some milk. Hi. He dumps all that manure in there. I think he says he gets 5 ton a load. Right before lambing, I update all my records. It takes me hours and hours and hours to do at registration. Some people say if they have a single, call the singles. Let's get started. Well, we knew it had to happen one day, and today is the day. We got our first real snowfall. Arnie's just taking a bale of hay into the sheep in the main barn here. What?
I thought you were going to open the gate for me.
Well, I would have if you waited for me.
Got heat on it, have you?
Ooh, that's nice. Heat with no door.
I took the door off. So I got the heat on.
No one's standing out on the platform today. Fair weather sheep. Well, he's gonna go feed them. Oh my goodness, the noise. Scotty, that's your little spot, but you're sharing with Pippi. That's a good pussycat. Hi, I can hear you. I can hear that noise. It's hard to miss it. Come on then. This is the one that jumps through the bars in her excitement. Hi, you're back. I know. It's coming. It's coming. Oh my goodness. Hi. Come on then. Hi there. Good girl. That's good. When you do that, you get some milk. Hi. Hi. Are you here for the morning ritual? Pippi, one day you're going to knock that right out of my hand. See, you spilt a bunch. There. And I'll go get your food just a second. Where did the black guy go now? Come on, buddy, I got it over here. Hi guys, how you doing? Hi, buddy. You a little bit hungry? There you go. I think that this guy is a neutered male. Hi. Because people do dump neutered cats as well. We even had someone dump a declawed cat, which doesn't help him very much in the wild, but he ended up being a house cat. So if people are gonna dump their cats at our house, we do appreciate it if they've dealt with them first instead of sending intact males and females here. Hi, Scotty. Hi. Scotty's another neutered male. Scotty, you're one of our oldest. If you recall, the other day we had a little leftover bale for bedding in the barn, and he's handing it out to Knockout's group right now. Knockout's more interested in the food right now, so he didn't have a little romp around the pen, but they're all clean again, and we're just doing morning chores. Hi, Angel, how you doing? Arnie wanted to get all the manure done today, but I don't know if this snow's gonna hold him up. There's not a lot of it, so I'm thinking he's gonna go ahead with it anyway. And I'm working on registering all our sheep in the house. The sheep aren't in the house, but I'm doing the job in the house. My other pussycat. Hi, Alexander. You don't want to walk in this, do ya? I know. It's a little cold on the feet. Yes, it is. Oh my goodness, it's a little cold. He still does his little rolling routine he did since he was a kitten. Hi, girls. You guys all hungry? Hi. Hi there. Hi, you guys. How you doing? Oh my goodness, you're lovely. Hi, buddy. Hi, Maverick. Hi. This is Rachel over here. I don't know if some of your older viewers may recognize Rachel. She was famous for really enjoying our jumping boxes. And she was always doing fancy leaps off the boxes and was very proud of herself. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, buddy. Oh my goodness. It looks like as we've been working, we got some blue sky before the next storm cloud rolls in. It's actually a nice day today because despite the fact that it's cold enough for snow, no wind. The wind makes so much difference. Hi, buddies. Thought I maybe should show you that despite all the head bashing the other day, everybody's still here. Where is Cass? Oh, this is Casanova right there, I think. Or is it you? No, this is Casanova who was fighting. Picking on one of the Suffocks. I don't know who he was fighting with. But they got over it once we broke it up, but rams are so silly, and that head cracking thing, it's scary when it happens. And yeah, it can often lead to a ram dying. Their heads are obviously extremely strong, but what happens sometimes is instead of hitting them in the head, they hit them maybe in the side and break a rib or stop their heart or whatever. But Gladiator, when that fight was going on, I don't know if you noticed it in that video, but he came over right away, and it was like either he was the scorekeeper or he was trying to break it up. Not quite sure, but he stood there and watched the whole thing. But I'm happy that he didn't get involved. Glad's never been a fighter. Hi, Glad. And hi, you guys. Hi, Marshall. Hi, buddy. Hi, Marshall. Hi, little mister. Hi, Marcus. Hello, buddy. Hi. Matt. This is Matador. You guys, it's really hard to go through the gate to do your salt mineral when you're blocking it. My goodness. Hi, I can see you. I can see you. Hi there. Hi, buddies. Oh, you are the sweetest rams. Oh my goodness. I know. The skies have really cleared up now. We still have a storm system coming in, but he's decided we got to get a move on. He would like all this manure done by the time lambing comes, because before lambing we will be cleaning out all the pens and putting out fresh bedding. And in order to do that, we need this platform out here empty because it doesn't take long to fill it up again. But as you can see, it's a big difference already right now. getting there. You can see the fence at the back now. So you guys have seen this before. He dumps all that manure in there. I think he says he gets 5 ton a load in it. Carts it off to the crop fields. Spreads it out as fertilizer. And the cycle begins. Meanwhile, I'm heading to the house now and do the really boring, time-consuming registering of sheep job and getting my breeding records all organized as well. I have everything on a computer, but everything's also backed up on paper so that I can just sit and go through the pedigrees, and each pedigree has the used record on it, and I guess I'll show you that when I get in the house. Back in the house now. Brought Ben with me so he doesn't run through all the manure and track it in the house. Max wants to stay out there. He sits and watches with fascination. But anyway, this is bookwork for me. All these folders are my sheep records. And every year, right before lambing, I update all my records. So any sheep that were sold or died or were called out and are just no longer here will be removed from all these binders. And I will record ahead of time which ewe is with which ram for this breeding. So I'll show you one. All my ram information is in this folder. But the ewes, oh my goodness, that's heavy. So these are my Suffolk ewes from A to J. I know for a fact, well, I'm pretty sure we have no AUs left, but we might. So I'll show you what the pedigrees look like and why it's so time consuming. So I got, I have to register all the first time lambers that are going through. We used to register them when they were lambs, but now we don't do that because half the time we sell all of them, and the people don't want registration papers, so it's very expensive to register sheep in Canada. I think it's something like $25 to register them and $13 to transfer them to a new owner. So basically it's $50 by the time you put your own time in there. So this is what a pedigree from the Canadian Sheep Breeders Association would look like. It shows the bloodlines. This one is the J year. So they would get, each sheep gets a name. If it's a pet sheep, it will get like a proper name, like Diva would have Diva on her pedigree. But if it's just a ewe that I don't really know, it will just be our farm name and her number. This one also was DNA tested, so I can see right on her papers that she's a QR. She gets a registration number. Her date of birth's on there. She's a Suffolk. And this tells me who her dad and mom are and that we're the owners. So I have to get all that information plugged in. Used to be paperwork, and I actually find the paperwork is faster to mail in, but they charge you more to mail in paperwork than they do for you to do it by computer, because by computer we do all the work for them. So for me, registering on the computer, it's quicker in one way, but each sheep has to be input into the computer and then finalized before you go on to the next sheep. And it takes me hours and hours and hours to do it, registration. So I only do it once a year, right when we're in breeding groups, so I know who all the purebreds are. Right about now, we have all purebreds pretty well. I mean, we have a few grades. So at the back of every sheep gets a record. So it shows this one had lambs 2 years, and I can see that her first year she had a single and her second year had twins, which is what I've said, that it tends to be that first timers only have a single. I mean, we have plenty that have more, but that's the general rule. And we're very happy when a first timer has a single, because usually it's a hands-off situation for us, and mom gets to learn with just one lamb, which is a lot easier for her. And then they go on, it seems, to have twins the rest of their history, and then they would oftentimes go back to singles when they get really old. So we have any information in there. And if there was a comment, it also gets registered. And I see that she started to reject her lamb, you see, as a first timer, but she didn't, it says. So she was going that way, but with time and being in the jugs, she actually accepted the lamb, and the second year, no comment. So she looked after both of her twin lambs. But you see, if she had had a twin and she was kind of, should I or shouldn't I with her lambs, chances are with more lambs she's going to reject one or maybe even both, and I would be intervening with bottles and stuff. Like I said, it's not always the case, but if it's going to happen with anyone, it's those first timers. Now I'm going to be registering all the L lambs, and there's quite a few of them to do. But I was going to go to some of our really old sheep and show you what a pedigree looks like there. So I just randomly picked out, who do we have here? So this is a CU. She's still here. She'd be quite old. She was born in 2015. So we still do have old girls around, and they're performing really well. And same thing, that's her pedigree. And on her the back side, you can see that she has a longer history. And she, as a first-time mom, had twins and had no comments. Okay, I see what happened with her. One year she had twins, and it said that one of her lambs died. Doesn't say from what. And then I see on another year she had a single later on in her career, but that year she actually adopted someone else's lamb that was a quad, and she raised those. So that tells me that she was a good mother. And you can see that singles, twins, and all that, they change year to year. It's not set in stone that they're all going to have a certain amount of lambs. And over time, by me going through the records, I can see how each ewe has performed right at a glance without having to go through the computer. Like, I see this ewe here had twins her whole life from day one. This one here started first year with single and then went twins all the way along. Well, actually, she even had triplets. This one, all twins, looks like, yep. This one here we go again. Single first year, but triplets and twins the rest of the time. So, like I say, it's common, but that's why we don't, like some people say if they have a single, call the singles, because you don't want singles in your flock. But that's why we don't do that, because if the mom's a first timer and had a single, she probably had a single because she was a first timer. And so that's not something bad that's going to be passed on to a lamb. Like, it doesn't mean that it's going to be a single lamb or two. Chances are, with most our sheep, they go on, and twins with our breeds of sheep is the norm. Triplets, we have a few triplets. Singles, if we're going to have them, it's usually a first timer. But we have sheep, when I look at these records, that will be different every year. Could be a single one year, then a triplet, then a twin, then a single, then triplets, and like they're all over the board. It's rare that I've ever had a sheep that had a single and had a single throughout her career. So they say that the number in your birth litter is not very highly heritable, but I suppose if you're purchasing sheep and want to maybe try stack the deck, you could buy only multiples, but it seems to me from my records that it can go either way. So our philosophy is always hold back the best lamb who performed the best, rather than basing it on how many brothers and sisters it had. These are the breeding groups that we have in the barns, and we have when the ram was put in, when the lambs are due to start, which ram went with which ewes. And all the first time lambs today, I'm also giving them a paper. So I'll be plugging in all the information I write down today into the computer to send off to CLRC, and they will send me back their papers when and if the mail strike ever ends. So in the meantime, I've got another binder started because the other one's full. So I have several binders going, and I'm working currently on the Suffolks. So what I do is I have a placeholder set up for them with all the information, because sometimes it can take quite a while to get the actual pedigrees back from CLRC. So I just summarize the ewes information on here, and this one happens to be Nibbles. So you see with her, when her papers come in, it's going to say Ewetopia Nibbles and her pedigree number, whereas others might just say Ewetopia 10L. But because this one is someone that we all know, she's actually going to have her name recorded on the pedigree too, and it will list her mom and dad and she was a twin, and her date of birth. And on the back, so if she has lambs before the pedigrees get here, I can still go to this paper. And with 2025 as the year she first lambs, the ram she's in with is Maverick. And this will be the start of her registered career. So this is the paperwork version of everything. Once this is all done, I could have gone to the computer and started there, but I find it's easier for me to have it all organized in the book first, and then I go to the computer and just flip page to page and send all the information over to the CLRC. Because otherwise, if you saw how long this takes me, I'm going through all these binders, and I have to look up every father, every mother, which is on my reader. It's all on my reader. But in order to make a paper copy for them, I have to go and link it all up by paper. And people say, why would you do that? It's all on my reader and on the computer, all the information, and it is. However, for those of you who have been with us for quite a while, you will know that the reader sometimes goes down. And one year it went down, and it took like 6 weeks for them to repair it and get it back to me. And in the meantime, I couldn't get any sheep on my computer. So when it came back, I had to do it all manually. So basically the bottom line is I don't trust computers. They're fantastic when they work, but it's devastating if that's your only source of information, because when you have this many sheep and detailed information about all of them, and you lose it because your computer crashes or your reader crashes or whatever, it's devastating. So I have a backup for everything. I will never lose my information. It's always there. And I personally prefer, if I'm looking up sheep, if I want to look into the history, like my reader only shows the first generation, like it'll show the lamb, the mother, the father, but it doesn't go past that on the reader. It does on the computer, and it does on my paperwork. But to me, picking up the folder and just flipping pages is way quicker once it's done. Getting it done is one of those things where you want to pull out your hair and wonder why you even bother registering sheep. So, Arnie's out in the fields, I'm in the house. We're both working, just totally different jobs. And I don't know which job I'd rather have. Well, she's given me the clue that it's time to stop doing this for today. Got a little bit done, but I got distracted with other things, such as making stew for dinner. Arnie's still out there. As you can see, it's getting dark out in the yard. And I got the beef stew and the dumplings in there cooking. So I imagine he'll be coming in shortly. And on that note, I'm going to call that a day. I just love paperwork. Ugh. Thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.